Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video in my Legends series. And today, as you can probably tell by the preset, we're talking about Cuxer 97. We're looking at some gameplay from back in the day. This is actually post-World Champion Cuxer. We're looking at Season 3 World Championship, where Cuxer, Greasy and Marky are looking to defend their title against, well, actually in round 1 they're up against Selfless here, who are coming in from North America looking very impressive. Dapper, Timmy, and that's Miho, who's got the name starred out for some reason. And yeah, I actually did want to start this video. The reason it's taken a while for me to make a video about Cuxer in this series is because I wanted to make include a replay from the Season 2 World Championship. But whenever I load the replay from Season 2 where these guys won, for some reason all the names are wrong. I don't know if that's going to ever be fixed, but it's okay. I think that's probably been watched many times in the past anyway. So that, okay, let's just start Season 3, and then we'll look at some Season 4. And then even some WSOE action as well. Because Cuxer had a long career. Cuxer was one of the players who stayed on top and was considered the best in the world for one of the longest stints in Rocket League history. And he was in the conversation for best in the world for a super long stint as well. And you know, for those of you who weren't watching Rocket League back then, I really mean that the very first tournaments, the first time that any small Rocket League tournaments were happening, or big Rocket League tournaments for back then were happening, Cuxer was already considered one of the best players coming out of the original, the predecessor of Rocket League, Supersonic Acrobatic Rockabara Battle Cars. Cuxer was already at the top, and he stayed that way for 2 years minimum. And then even past that, he was still in the combo for best in the world. Oh, great reads here. Didn't get the touch that he wanted, but nice read on the upward bounce in what is Game 5. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but Game 5 against Selfless, round 1. NA Selfless taking the defending champions down to the wire, and Cuxer off his goal line, but awkwardly positioned, couldn't get the save there as Selfless go up 1-0. It was a very back and forth series. Flipside won Game 1, Selfless won Game 2, Flipside won Game 3, then Selfless won Game 4, and now they're up in Game 5. So really big chance here for them to do something quite special, but look at the passing. Marky and Cuxer getting involved. Looks like they couldn't get the finishing touch. Now Greasy with an awkward touch. Cuxer has to come to the rescue. Looks like that was not what Greasy intended with the touch to the backboard there. This is a very nervous performance from Flipside. I remember that they felt a lot of pressure here to get the win in this round, and Selfless were proven to be a tough opponent. Marky just sending it long. Double commit out of Selfless there as they try to survive the famous Flipside pressure, which has been pretty subdued in this game so far. Flipside were very famous for putting so many shots on the board. They were always just getting shot after shot after shot, getting everybody involved in the attack. 3-player offensive rotation, and not so much here as Cuxer trying to get on the end of Greasy's pass. It was a good pass, but it's going towards that back post side, naturally clearing itself. Cuxer with the traditional follow-up, just following behind the player who's trying to center the ball, not able to get on the end of it. Now Cuxer winning an aerial battle there with Dapper. Those guys did have tons of close 1v1s over the years. Storied rivalry at the time that this was played, and now not only in 1s but in 3s as well. 90 seconds left and still Selfless lead by 1, but Cuxer breaker rotation, getting a big block to the corner, trying to get the ball back into the middle blindly. Does so for Marky, who's hit the post. Dapper half clears it. Timmy does well though. Good passing and defense by Dapper there to clear the ball towards his teammate. Now Greasy forward to Marky, up into the air. Cuxer up first, on target, denied by another save, but Marky sticks around and puts it in, and that is more like it from the Flipside boys. That's what they were famous for, just getting their volume of shots, eventually causing defenses to crumble. Now looking to get the passing plays going off of the kickoff. Greasy down the line, didn't have the infield that he was wanting. Look at the speed of Timmy, now dropping it down to Dapper, who pops it in, and what a finish that is. Insane response by Dapper, popping at top bins. Just a pixel past Cuxer, who is arriving late, and the world champions, the defending champions, are up against it once again. It wasn't an easy time qualifying to this land. Flipside Tactics had to come back against Resident in dramatic fashion. They were on the brink, scored a 0-second goal to stay in it, and then qualled. So they're definitely not the favourites to win the tournament, but they're still the defending champions. They still had that aura on LAN, as the kids say now. But with 30 seconds left, it's not looking like it's going to be enough. Good bump from Timmy there, taking Cuxer off the game. Greasy looking to get a knock forward to the corner, but everybody's back in defense. Cuxer going high to the backboard, setting up Greasy, who's taken out of the game by Timmy. Good defense again by Selfless. They're making it so hard for Flipside to get clear-cut chances on net. Dapper taking control. Great flick. That was something he was so good at back in the day. And now Cuxer popping it forward. Timmy able to get it into the corner. Miho misses. Timmy half clear. Stopped by Cuxer. There's a 0-second goal to stay in the match. And it took the roof off the arena. Even on NA soil, these guys were a popular team. And now into overtime we go. Winner makes it into the double elimination upper semis. Loser will be on their last life for the remainder of the tournament. All RLCS lands back then were double elimination, so it was a much more brutal format to kick things off than you're used to seeing at majors. Pretty similar to the double elim groups you see these days though. You see a lot of times that Cuxer's happy to reverse back then. That was something that he didn't mind reversing into position. He was quite comfortable aerialing with a reverse takeoff, or even just a vertical takeoff. Something that he was able to do a lot sooner than other players back then. It's a good pass and follow up by Markey, but look at the clear by Miho. That is a beast of a clear, going the full length of the pitch. For back in the day, doesn't get much better than that. Now the pressure coming through. Markey just gets a piece of it. Is it going to stay safe in the corner? It will now as Markey gets back to it. And lots of pressure being put on by Selfless. Luckily for Flipside, they respected Cuxer's clear threat there, even though he did end up missing it. And a lot of respect being put on Greasy there as well, even though he's missed. So maybe Selfless needs to start reading the misses as Markey hits the crossbar, hits the post. Cuxer comes in, can't get the shot high enough to cause any problems. But that was pretty close to Flipside advancing. Cuxer misses the post read. Dapper now is denied by Greasy. I mean, when I tell you that this atmosphere was electric when this game was happening, it's not one word of a lie. Not the best clear by Cuxer, only as far as Miho. Luckily, Miho passes it off to Markey. Both teams trading possession like they don't want it. There's a nervous performance in Game 5 from the defending champions and also from the young guns of NA. Looking to make a early announcement to the world. Markey and Cux don't get the team pitch there. Markey cuts infield, gets dunked on by Miho. Over 2 minutes into overtime now. Markey pops it mid to Cux, who dusts his man. He's looking for the double tap, puts it past two of them, and that is how it ends. That's how Flipside advanced into the top 4 of the upper bracket in absolutely stunning fashion. But what a pass this was by Markey. I have to go Markey POV actually. Give this one its full respect, because this really is a very good pass. Just going mid to Cuxer there. And notice Cuxer on this first touch. This was something that players were starting to do back then. It was popularized by Devo this same season. But that little air roll there to kill the recoil on his on the impact and keep his car flying in a straight line. If you're looking to add double taps to your offensive arsenal, that's something you guys could do in your own games. If you want a more detailed breakdown of that, head to thenextrank.com/free. We've got a free video about it that you guys can learn from the best. Of course, I mean Jack, not me. But that's the first game of this video. I want to fast forward in time now to a game that features a clip you guys may be familiar with, but I'm not sure if you've seen the whole game. So let's get into it. Alright, second game from the video today. We're going to be looking at Flipside against Team Secret. This was the following season of RLCS, where Markey and Cux were playing with Mystic now. They did actually win a LAN with this roster. They won DreamHack Summer, winning in the final against the greatest Rocket League team to ever play the game in Gale Force Esports, then Dignitas, Violent Panda Turbo, and K-Dot. Flipside were able to beat them in their first LAN, but after that it was a pretty big struggle in this season. They needed to win this, and they needed to win it well in order to make it to the playoffs in this RLCS season. That's how difficult it was for them. EU was stacked at the time, a lot of teams on the come up, and it doesn't start off too well with the back pass. Cuxer back pass near to Markey, but all going well in this game, or this series I should say. They're up 2-0, so even though they were on a pretty bad streak of the season, just 1 series win, 5 losses, they were looking to clutch it up here and make playoffs. as that's something they'd never missed before in any of the RLCS seasons. They never missed RLCS LAN, of course, but a long way to go there with how stacked EU was. Yeah, I wanted to show this this match for one reason in particular. Coxer was always known as an innovator. He was the original innovator in Rocket League. He'd be sitting in free play for hours and hours, trying things that no one else is even bothering to think about. If you watched Coxer streams way back in the day, you'd see him air dribbling, you'd see him hitting rebounds, you'd see him even like trying his air dribbles into rebounds before anyone else is really even doing either of those things individually. But the one thing that he was always miles ahead of, and no one even thought it was viable really, was the pinch game. And you've probably seen this part before. There it is, the first pinch that Cox ever hit in RLCS. And of course, we have to watch this from every player POV because it is just a historic moment. Season 4. He did this in 2017, and it is an absolute laser. The technique that he's using for this isn't really used anymore, at least not by any players in RLCS, because I think the fact that the Batmobile isn't really used mean that other players have come up with other techniques to hit pinches from this same position in the back corner, but with different styles. Most commonly air rolling 90 degrees to the side and then flipping into the ball. But Coxer just used this side of the cart, and look how impossible it is. We have to watch this again from Flame's POV. He's not even that far forward. The ball just flies over his head directly into the net, and he's motionless. Okay, one more POV and we'll be done with this. It's not like the setup was all that obvious. This just looks like an innocent air dribble. Oh, Coxer's going to go for one of his back corner air dribbles. We've all seen this before. He really thinks he can trick us. Not this time, Coxer. We've all seen you do this, and I really do mean it. If you'd seen Coxer back in the day, he used to do just this. Just set up the back corner air dribble. Not this time, it's the pinch. But yeah, really cool to see it working after all the years, all the months, all the hours of training. And now it's commonplace. Everybody has to worry about it in 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. Not sure if it works in 4v4 with the walls being different. I'm sure it does, but with a different angle. And that really did open the floodgates. This game is the game that opened the floodgates for everybody else, realizing, okay, he's actually onto something here. Everybody already knew he was onto something because everybody had so much respect for him. Great half volley off the wall there, by the way, by Coxer. But this game confirmed it, and everybody else thought, okay, we really need to put some time into this. And other players even started continuing to innovate. It's the cool thing about when new mechanics and new strategies come up in Rocket League is everybody starts trying them and new styles start to appear. I think the first time that I ever saw the modern technique being used was actually in a Jazer video. I'm pretty sure, I didn't actually look at this before hitting record in this video. Probably should have. I'm pretty sure Jazer made a pinch tutorial, and he used to use a technique that's now more common, the 90-degree air roll to the side, and then dodging into the wall more straight onto it instead of side on. So that's the technique most pros will use these days from the back corner like that, even from the halfway line, if you want to try it yourself. But if you're a Batmobile player, you're probably better off going with Coxer's technique. Nice finish with the bounce shot. It's got 2-1 here from Cox. Because Coxer really was, well, one of the only players playing the Batmobile to this level. Definitely one of the only players playing it for this length of time. So if it works for him, it's probably going to work for just about any Batmobile player. Mistake. Oh, a bit unlucky there. He actually bumped the defender off the back wall and then accidentally cleared it like the defender intended to do themselves. I was really glad that I got to see this team win a LAN together as a trio. They didn't win any other LANs together as a trio other than DreamHack Summer, but Mystic and Cox did. I'll take a look at a game on their way to doing that after this game is done. A Team Secret making them work for it. Even game difference was still relevant at this moment, I believe. They needed to win this as comfortably as possible to keep Envy as far behind them as they could. Kind of crazy to think that Envy, that's Remco, Devo, Greasy, and this Flipside roster were actually the two teams fighting for playoffs. It shows you how stacked you got back then. This great goal line save comes through, but the boost has been stolen. Flipside are under pressure, and there's no more defenders left. Eventually, surely, there it is for Team Secret to tie the game. Team Secret in this series looking for their first win of the season, just their first, not game win, but series win. They would be more than happy to ruin Flipside's season at this point. More than happy to send them out of the playoffs for the first time ever. Same Team Secret org, of course, that's still kicking about in RLCS majors to this day, mostly with South American teams, of course. But back then, EU team of Tylacto Continuum and Flame, who went on to have a pretty successful career all the way into RLCS Season X. The Mystic trying to center it. Tylacto does well to get goal side. We'll need to talk a bit more about the longevity of Cux after this, after we get into this next game. But let's first of all find out if they're able to get it done in 3, if they're able to sweep Team Secret, win the series, and all but confirm themselves. I think actually just confirm themselves for the playoffs this RLCS season in EU. Not an easy playoff first round though, going up against Galeforce. That was the team they were destined to face. The team that did go on to win that RLCS season. Yeah, the must win. Really, more than qualifying for RLCS playoffs in EU, this was a must win because this was, of course, the first ever pinch in RLCS. Well, first ever pinch to get a goal in RLCS in this manner, so have to get a win. Whenever you score a good goal, you have to win the game. Otherwise, you just feel disgusting saving the replay. Seeing the red loss in the replay folder, but they do win the game, and it's off an infield pass. Another thing that Cuxer and the boys were heavily involved in innovating. Beautiful pass to Mystic, who slots it well. We'll look at his POV on the finishing touch. Great shot with the air roll. And yeah, let me know in the comments. Had you guys seen this game before? I know a lot of you have seen the clip of Cuxer's first ever pinch to score in RLCS, but have you seen the game? Because this is the game that happened in Season 4, final week. Crucial series. Flipside needed to win this to make the playoffs. They did. They made the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, that was the end of their season. They ran into Galeforce and lost, but still, they won. And the replay will forever say winning game whenever Cuxer looks back at it fondly. Okay, I've got one more game I want to show you guys. Let's fast forward a bit to 2019. Alright, here we are in the final qualifying round for the WSOE Rocket League tournament. A tournament that Cuxer went on to win, but not with the team that he's currently playing with. They actually had to sub in Speed because Yukio joined Dignitas, and that left Flipside, who won the qualifier by winning this match against Alpha, Bluey, and Devo. Team Savage, very strong team at the time in Europe. But at the time that this match was played, they were still playing with Yukio. Cuxer, Yukio, Mystic were one of the best teams in Europe, and they were looking to make another RLCS LAN, or looking to make another LAN off the back of Season 6 loss to Cloud9. A lot of times Cuxer lost to the eventual world champion in RLCS, just realizing. Times he wasn't winning it himself, but I guess a lot of teams do lose to the world champion. World champion has to beat a lot of teams to win, of course. But this is the final round. This is the qualifying round, upper bracket in the qualifier to make WSOE. I would have shown you a match from the actual tournament, but I couldn't find any. I could not find any of the replays. So if anybody knows where they are, let me know if anybody has them. I'd love to watch back and see replays from the actual LAN where they did play with Speed. But yeah, what happened there is quite an interesting story. Flipside at the time were very stats based. They're looking into a lot of advanced statistics with Rocket League. And when they had to replace Yukio because he left to join Dignitas, one of the closest statistical matches and stylistic matches in terms of playstyle to Yukio was Speed, and that's why they picked him up. And then they won the next LAN immediately, and Speed looked like world-class player on the team. Obviously was already making inroads to be a top-tier player himself, but it was his best tournament that he'd ever played. They won the whole thing, beating NRG in the final. Lots of stunning wins along the way. And yeah, in qualifying with Yukio, Cuxer, 2019. We're now like more than 4 years on from Rocket League's origin. Well, not quite 4 years, I guess. We're starting 2019 here. But Rocket League's origin had Cuxer looking like one of the best in the world, and for long periods of time he was the best in the world, and now here we are, almost 4 years later, he's still one of the best in the world. Still in one of the best teams. And still doing it his own way, doing it different. Ignoring everybody else playing the Octane. ignoring everybody else when they started switching to the Fennec later on in this year. Just kept on doing his own thing. And even past our LCS Season X into the 21-22 season with Cuxer's minions. So even in 2021, he was still, maybe even 2022, start 22, he was still making our LCS main events, which is just insane longevity, especially for an OG, because all the other OGs had pretty much retired or completely fallen off at that point, unwillingly. Yeah, definitely one of the all-time greats. I think I mentioned earlier on, when you talk about players who've had a stint as unanimous best in the world. I made a video about this, and it's a little bit of a controversial topic because it is subjective. But I don't think there's any debate that for long periods of time in the first couple of years of Rocket League esports existence, and even before Rocket League esports, Cuxer was the best. He was considered by everybody to be the best, all of his competitors, all the casters, all the fans. And yeah, if you disagree, then you probably weren't there to watch it, because yeah, he's one of the only players who can say that he was unanimous best. I think one of only maybe 10 players, even those, some of them are disputed, but for me at least, he has one of the longest stints, up there with the likes of Zen these days, and you know, the players like Monkey Moon, Justin, who have been at the top for years and years. Cuxer was the original guy to do that. They're winning this game comfortably. This was actually I believe it was game 4 of a best of 7. They're up 2-1 going into this. The actual series score doesn't really matter. It's not why I'm showing this. I just wanted to show some more modern Cuxer gameplay related to a tournament they ended up winning with a substitute in speed. They went on to have more successful results as a team. You know, other LAN top 4s. I think the most recent one would have been the DreamHack Valencia. After this, they made top 4. So yeah, one of the most recent, until Redacted recently, unsigned team making top 4 on an international LAN. Before that, you had to go back to the days of Cuxer playing with the bricks after Mouse. This is Mouse Esports. After Mouse dropped them, playing with the bricks, unsigned, and making top 4s at DreamHacks. The Peeps winning a DreamHack unsigned. You really had to go all the way back to this to find unsigned teams that are making top 4s. But Cuxer, he was one of the greatest before this, one of the greatest players of all time, and one of the only players who was able to survive from SARP into this far into Rocket League's existence. Really was a short list who were able to do that. Cuxer and Chronovi and Scrub Killer all come to mind. Not sure if anyone else could add themselves to that conversation. But yeah, carrying the team in this game. They went on to qualify in the next game. They won the next one after this, and they did qualify for a WSOE, subbed in speed. And do you guys see that? That is actually crazy timing. Devo's invited me to play Rocket League. Devo's on the pitch. How am I reviewing a Devo game from 2019 or early? I think it was either late 2018 or early 2019. Might have been late 2018. Not that it matters. And he's invited me to play Rocket League. He must be wanting to play 4v4. Really difficult to get 4v4 games at the insanely high rating of 1160 that I'm at. So you guys, if you are listening, Q4v4, you're in this rank, please Q4s. Great game. At the start of the new season, everybody should be playing. But yeah, sorry, bit of a tangent there. Devo's distracted me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little look back at the past of some Cuxer games that might not be as familiar as the Season 2 winning series or the DreamHack Summer winning series or WSOE. These are all games that helped along the way to building his legacy that he now has. Some of the more niche games, I suppose, have moments you might remember. Well, now you've seen them in full. If you have any other players you'd like to see me make a video like this about, let me know in the comments as always. And check out thenextrank.com and the links in the description. Check out Chalkcast, links in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all very soon.